Okay, so these are unpeeled, clearly, but there's a few ways you can cut a carrot. The first thing, though, that you want to remember, and this is pretty, elementary, I guess, but remember that the tip is not as wide as the top. Okay, so you want to first separate those two. All right, because that way you won't be sort of fighting with the carrot as far as how wide something is. All right, it'll just make it easier for uniformity of cut. The reason why uniformity of cut is important is because you want your pieces to be the same size so they cook in the same length of time. Okay, so once you've got that done, there's a few ways that you can do it. What do you guys want to see first? A slice or a dice or anything in particular? I can just show you. Slice? Okay. So a slice is easy. The first thing you want to do if you just want rounds is keeping that tip on your board. All right? You're going to do the same thing. Yep. So keeping that tip on your board. And then that way, while you're using that claw, just like you are with all of the cuts, you can feed the carrot through the knife and control how thick you want your slices. So if you're looking for coins, like maybe you're making glazed carrots, you're only going to feed it through a little bit at a time. If you're making chunks, then you can feed it through faster. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. Sometimes if you want half moons for your carrots, you would take your length of carrot, cut it lengthwise, and that's how you would make those half moons using the same technique as you would for the coins.
Now, how were you holding that when you cut it lengthwise?
I held it this way, put it down, and just put it down on the board and went that way. Mm-hmm. Now, another thing that people sometimes ask with a carrot is how do you dice a carrot? Because they can be a little bit tricky, right? And it goes back to what I was saying about creating that flat surface. So whatever vegetable you're cutting, you want to do that flat surface. So you would just shave a little bit off of that round part. So if you have that intact carrot, just cut off like a millimeter from that carrot. And then that way, you've got a nice, solid surface, okay? If you want your dices, do you see what I did, Jules? I'll do it again. So if you've got your carrot, you want to create that flat surface, you're just shaving a millimeter off of it. You're holding your carrot steady with your left hand or your non-dominant hand, and then just shaving off a little bit. So you're creating that flat plane. Okay? Yeah, you got it, Jules. Yeah, you're on the way. Yeah, absolutely. And so if you want your dices to be really fancy, like all square, you can play dice with them, then you would do that on each side. So you're essentially creating squares where it was round. All right? And they'll be more or less perfect depending on the carrot that you started with, right? Now you don't want to throw these guys away. They're great to munch on while you're cooking. Okay, you can make imperfect squares, or you can always save any of your vegetable scraps to make veggie stock from scratch, okay, just by simmering them with water for 30 minutes. But once you've got this square like that, then it's just like we did when we cut the onion, when we cut the pepper, okay? We're making those long cuts first. All right, so now we have what are known as planks. A lot better than some of the planks that you do in exercise class. And then depending on how comfortable you are, you can stack these planks to make your squares by doing another long cut, or you can do it one at a time. You've got your plank flat on your board, you make one cut down the middle. Good. Remember, trying to keep your fingertips out of the way, right? So now you're left with all of these batons. These are good for carrot sticks. These are good for veggie tray, okay? Or, again, you stack them together on your board, make the claw, and you can make a diced carrot, which looks pretty fancy. Okay. So so once you've got those sticks, you can really do all kinds of good. Yeah. Good. Nice. All right, you guys got it. Yeah, what Julie's doing with those thin ones there, she's making a super fancy cut that's called a brunoise. If anyone has seen that on TV before, see, Julie, you've got skills you don't even know. And you can look on the cover of the little packet I made you, and if you can see it clearly enough, there's different shapes on there, and that shows you all of the different sort of cut styles that you could do, okay? But these are the basic ones, what I'm showing you today.